I'm sitting here in my car thinking. The urge to over explain comes from childhood because healed women speak simply. This morning, I caught myself over explaining and I stopped and thought about it because over explaining is a childhood trauma response. And the reason why the four common childhood traumas that women experience. The outcome of this one specifically is over explaining. And over explaining comes from an abandonment wound. And that comes from childhood, some kind of childhood trauma. Trauma doesn't need to be something like death defying and, on the death or the brink of death and destruction. It could be having parents that love you very much, but didn't have the emotional bandwidth to, to hold you in that space and allow you to express yourself fully and clearly and concisely, which means that in order to feel safe in your environment, you become a person that over explains something because you want to make sure that you're not abandoned in some way. And that just comes from your parents not having the bandwidth to be able to listen to you and create that space for you to be seen. So this is where it comes from. It's something that I have definitely experienced. And I remember in my 20s and 30s, I was like hell bent on figuring out, why do I find this need to over explain myself? Because it's about self-worth. It's about being able to stand on your own 2 feet, 10 toes deep and be confident in that. I did a video on the impact of childhood wounds on our adult relationships. And I don't know if you know this, but there's actually four childhood wounds that women experience that impact and affect their adult relationships. And everything that I talk about here on Feminine Spaces is always about the things that I'm curious about, the things that I've experienced, the things that my clients, when I had a practice, experience, or something that my friends or something that I've read and I'm curious about and I want to learn more about, because everything here is about empowering women to improve their relationship wisdom, self-mastery, and conscious living, always through a feminine lens. And it's something so impactful and it's something so incredibly important that all of us do and want to know. And I'm definitely that person that when I have a behavior pattern or I express a coping mechanism in some way, I want to know what it is and I want to improve upon it. Because when I start looking at my relationships, especially when I was in my 20s and going, why do I keep attracting this kind of man in my life? Why am I showing up like this in my relationships? Because I don't like it. And because I didn't like it, I didn't like that aspect of how I was showing up, I want to improve upon it. And I didn't really know how to do it. But then when I learned, I'm that person that I share everything with everybody when I know. I'm like, girl, I found these tights at the store. Or girl, I learned how to make zucchini with onions and like a really good sauce. And it took me 10 minutes and I put it in the oven. Like I am a sharer like that. And I think it comes from over explaining and not being, and that abandonment wounds because you always want to be loved and you always want to be liked. So you overcompensate in some way. And then I learned to stop doing that, but I'm still a sharing kind of person because I just think that you should share information. Going back to over explaining is recognizing that it is an emotional wound. And there's four emotional wounds that women consistently experience. And this is how it shows up in your adult relationships. So if you want a little bit more information, head over to my YouTube channel, Feminine Spaces, and check out the art or the impact of how your childhood wounds impact your adult relationships. If you want to change it and do something differently moving forward, because all of my videos always say from the psychological perspective, why we do what we do. This is how it shows up in our life. This is what you can do differently if you want to heal and then move forward and live your most beautiful, impactful, amazing life. Over explaining comes from an abandonment wound. And when I knew that and recognized it for myself, when it showed up today, I was able to go, I see you. I got you. We're not in that moment. We're safe. And that made all the difference in the world. Pussily Puss.